How are you? Hello. What Divya madam? How are you? Namaste. Okay, so we are here to talk about which nakshatra? Punarvasu nakshatra. Punarvasu in Cancer sign. Okay, we have talked about Punarvasu in Gemini in the last session. Namaskar, madam. How are you? So I have Mars in Punarvasu. Okay, we will talk about it once I finish description from my side. Okay, so this is just a second. Okay, so last time we discussed about Punarvasu in Gemini section. So the basic things remain the same as discussed before. If I just recap things. So like the basic things are Punarvasu starts at 20 degree of Gemini and ends at 3 degree 20 minutes of Cancer. So we are going to talk about this 3 degree 20 minutes of Cancer today. Then it is Punarvasu is ruled by Jupiter, Guru, and today is Guru Purnima also. That's nice. Then Punarvasu in Cancer section, Moon will rule over it. In Gemini section, Mercury will rule over it. Okay. So as major portion of this nakshatra falls into Gemini section, it will have more traits of Gemini rather than Cancer, but still Cancer has some portion of it. Then Punarvasu, the word means return of the light or return of the hope. So it shows a process where a person goes through lots of turmoils in life or lots of trauma, and then he comes back to the normalcy in his life. That is what Punarvasu nakshatra uh, indicates. It indicates someone going through lots of troubles up to Ardra, as we know about the whole story from Rohini to Ardra. It represents going through lots of troubles, and then comes the Punarvasu Nakshatra, which is all about coming back to normalcy in life. Okay, so that is the thing. Then its representation is arrow or quiver. Uh, like its pictorial representation is someone is shooting the arrow and arrow is coming back to the quiver. So it is again about returning to the normal things, or it is about feeling secured, because its another representation is the home. We feel secured and safe in the home. If we have quiver, understand, if we have arrows in our quiver, it also means that we can safeguard ourselves, we can secure ourselves. That is also one of the indication of this nakshatra. Then its deity is goddess Aditi. Then its lord is Jupiter, as I said. In Gemini section it is ruled by Mercury, and in Cancer section it is ruled by Moon. Okay. The mythological story is the same, which was going on from Rohini to Ardhara, where Brahma wanted to have sexual relationship, incestful relationship with his daughter, and then Rohini ran away. Then they both turned themselves into a deer, and that was the portion of Mrakshira. Then came Ardhara Nakshatra, where the demon Rudra has hit Brahma with an arrow, and Brahma fell on earth. So the whole story is chaotic by nature. It represents transformation, it represents traumatic events up to Ardhara. Now we come to the Punarvasu. Punarvasu is about return of the light, return of the home. So it is about coming back to normalcy in life. Okay, coming back to having the normal ways of life after going through so many traumas in life. Okay, so Punarvasu is very closely connected with any kind of rehabilitation activities, as I discussed in the last session also. One or two of my recent clients were physiotherapists, and has a very prominent Punarvasu Nakshatra. I think they both had this Punarvasu in Ascendant Nakshatra or something like that. So as Punarvasu is becoming important, rehabilitation, any kind of rehabilitation work, not necessary they should be in this they should be in this physiotherapy and all. Any kind of rehabilitation work will support this, will be supported by this nakshatra. Okay, so it can be like healthcare also, it can be like spiritual healing also, it can be about just general counseling to someone. These days we are discussing a lot about mental health. So it can be connected with someone providing psychological counseling also. So any type of activity which provides the possibility of rehabilitation. Okay, rehabilitation to someone, that is Punarvasu related activity. Okay. Now as we have seen the differences between Gemini section or Cancer section. Gemini is all about business and communication. Okay, and Cancer is all about taking care and nourishing people. So this is the main difference which we have. The activities will remain the same, the purpose will change. In Gemini section, the person can be more involved in making a business out of it. He can be more involved in healing the other person or rehabilitating the other person through his communications, through his counseling work. Okay, that is more important with Punarvasu in Gemini. But when it comes to this Cancer, Punarvasu in Cancer, it is all about taking care and nourishing people. Cancer and its Lord Moon, they both are very closely connected with any work related with teaching, counseling, healing, food industry and all, because that's where we need to take care of people, nourish people very directly. Okay, so when Punarvasu is coming into Cancer, then it shows that through their counseling ability, or through their healing ability, through their activities of rehabilitation, someone is actually taking care and nourishing people. Most commonly they are in medical field, because cancer is very closely connected with medical field, but they can also be teachers and counselors. Okay, they can be more emotionally involved here. That is another difference, that in Gemini section, person can be business minded. Okay, he is doing all the activities of rehabilitation, he is counseling people, he is guiding people, he is healing people, but all the activities can be business minded, can be about making his business out of it. But in Cancer section, they can be more emotionally involved with their clients or their customers. They can be more emotionally connected while healing people or counseling people. So that is one more difference which we can see with Punarvasu in Gemini and Punarvasu in Cancer. If we are given a choice which is better, then Punarvasu in Cancer is better, because all the things are coming together. Punarvasu is ruled by Jupiter, this Cancer is ruled by Moon. So Jupiter and Moon are best friends, so here there is more possibility of getting better results in life rather than in Gemini section. Okay, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is enemy to Jupiter. So this is the main theme around this Punarvasu Nakshatra, that it is all about rehabilitation, but the difference between Gemini and Cancer is that in Gemini section, person can be all about making his business, and in Cancer section, he can be all about taking the approach to more human and more emotional ways. Okay, so this is where the difference is. They can be also teachers, the professors and all, and helping people with their knowledge and all. They can be spiritual healers also, spiritual counselors. Okay, so it depends upon overall chart, and especially the planet which is in Punarvasu Nakshatra in Cancer section. If we just incorporate the planet here, the if Jupiter is there, the best thing can happen is if Jupiter is in Punarvasu in Cancer. Okay, because Jupiter gets exalted in Cancer, and especially in the initial degrees. Jupiter is exactly exalted at 5 degrees. So that is the thing. So when Jupiter is in Punarvasu in Cancer, Jupiter is all about knowledge and sharing of knowledge. Jupiter is all about religion, philosophy, literature, spirituality. So Jupiter or Ketu also represents spirituality. So these two planets can make someone a very good teacher. They can be a very good counselors, either in the educational field or religious field or a spiritual field. With Ketu, there is a possibility of occult field also, occult mysticism also. If Saturn is there, that is more a medical healer. Okay, that is more a person who is about healing people through medical ways, because Saturn is all about illness and misery. Okay, so there Saturn can change the results a little bit, and make someone very much interested in taking care and nourishing people through healing and health care. Okay, so Mercury in Punarvasu in Cancer can make someone a very good teacher or counselor, because Mercury is all about it. But as Mercury is in enemy sign here, they cannot be very emotional or nourishing teacher. They can be more about their own business. Okay, they can be like a clever counselor, a clever businessman who is a counselor. Okay, this is the difference. Then if sun is there, their career is all about nourishing others, taking care of others. So the more they take care of others, the more they nourish others, the better authority and recognition they will get in their life. So this is also about sun in Punarvasu in Cancer. So again, it is all about combining the impact of the planet. What are the traits of the planet, then traits of the nakshatra and the traits of the sign. Combine all these things, use your intuition, and then give your interpretation. As I said earlier, I can give information on astrology, I cannot give intuition. That is the main thing. So when the main difference, as I said, it is all about in Cancer section, it is all about healing and health care, taking care and nourishing people. uh, Otherwise, main things are same with Punarvasu Nakshatra. Punarvasu is all about helping people in rehabilitation work, in any kind of rehabilitation work. Normally we look at rehabilitation work as a medical thing only, that someone is suffering in like health related matters, and someone is trying to help them. But it is like let's take some examples. It is like some place had some cyclone. Okay, some place had some flood situation. Okay, and now there is a team which is looking after rehabilitation work. Why this example is most relevant is that Ardra Nakshatra is all about cyclones and floods and all the traumatic events. Okay, transformative events, and Punarvasu is coming after it. So this example can make us understand in a better way that someone is going through a turmoil, a very transformative event, and then some people are helping them through their rehabilitation activities. So this is where the main thing and the main theme is around this Punarvasu Nakshatra. It is all about rehabilitation, and it is all about giving security and safety back to the person. Okay, so let's let's take some questions. I have Mars in Punarvasu Nakshatra. Now, if it is in Gemini and Cancer, that makes a huge difference, because in Cancer sign it will be debilitated. Okay, in Gemini sign it is still in enemy sign. Mars in Punarvasu, Mars is your actions and efforts. Punarvasu is all about healing and healthcare or rehabilitation work. You should utilize your actions in any kind of rehabilitation work. That's it. Okay, but again the dignity will make the difference. Mars in Gemini section can make you very active in your business communications. Mars in Cancer, as it is debilitated, you may realize this path with lots of delay in life. Uh, Plus, you may not be able to find out how to utilize this energy. The realizations will come with lots of delay and hard work. Punarvasu is repeat nakshatra, right? Ketu in Punarvasu Nakshatra in Cancer 2.5 degrees. As I said, Ketu is all about occult mysticism and spirituality. As it is falling in, and it is also about research and investigation, it shows that as it is falling in Cancer and Punarvasu, person can rehabilitate others through his ability to through his research work, or through his ability to counsel others, to share his knowledge. Okay, through his sharing of knowledge, they can help others. But that knowledge can be in the research oriented field like occult mysticism or spirituality. Okay, it also depends on the dasha a person is going through. That will be the main point. Happy Guru Purnima, sir. Hello, sir. Good morning. What if it is in the 12th house? Uh, does it mean I will feel better in foreign country? Again, it depends upon the dignity. Actually, Mars is losing dignity in both the signs. Mars in Gemini Punarvasu or Mars in Cancer Punarvasu. It is losing dignity. So it actually shows you may not like to be at foreign lands. If you go to foreign lands, then there can be some losses. There can be some major losses in foreign lands. Plus, you should take care while traveling, driving there, as it can lead to some accident or something like that. Okay, as Mars is losing dignity, that's why it is not advisable. Okay, it also depends on the maturity age. Mars matures at 31, so if you are over 31, then the situation can be little better for you. Okay, so again, the giving the prediction whether you should go to foreign lands or relocate to foreign lands depend on lots of analysis. I cannot just say due to one planetary position. It is in Cancer. Yeah, it is debilitated. Now it is like a weak Mars. So, like if you are visiting foreign lands, okay, it is debilitated, so it can bring some losses. Okay, uh, given an opportunity, you should avoid visiting foreign lands. But if you are visiting, you should be very careful. 10th house. Uh, Ketu in Punarvasu Cancer 10th house with Jupiter in Pushya. Jupiter Ketu in Cancer. What else you want? You are a spiritual guru or something. Okay. So I don't know which dasha you are in, but if you are in Jupiter dasha or Ketu dasha or Moon dasha, then it is a very powerful position to become a teacher, become a guru of someone. Okay, guru of people at large, as it is 10th house. Okay, it is very good for your spiritual pursuits also, spiritual education, occult education. Okay, you can make a career out of it. Warren Buffett has Jupiter in Punarvasu in 8th house. That's great. 8th house is house of other people. Okay, and other people wealth. So if uh, someone has Jupiter in 8th house, it shows that person can get uh, a good amount of wealth from other people wealth. Okay, as we know that he is kind of business tycoon and very very affluent personality. Then we can understand this result with Jupiter in 8th house in Punarvasu. Mars is related with sports also. I have Mars in Punarvasu debilitated, but I have always been excellent in sports throughout my life. Mars is in 11th house with Moon. Yeah, yeah, it can give you interest. It is not that if it is debilitated, it is not going to give you interest, but it is just that you may not be able to utilize that interest at a good level, right? You may not be able to follow that interest as a career. Even if you had followed, the results or benefits might have come with lots of delay. Okay, so that is important. Okay, Mars Ketu together in Lagna. Okay. So one thing is that, as it is sixth and 11th lord, okay, sixth house is the house of disputes, and it is coming into the first house, so it is showing that disputes, conflicts, obstacles are coming to you. Okay, you may get into disputes, conflicts without any intention. Okay, someone can come up and have a dispute with you. Okay, this is the thing. Plus, it shows that Mars and Ketu both are malefic planets. They both together represent this surgeries, bloodshed, and all that. So you should be careful while traveling, driving, especially head related area. First house is head. So maybe, I don't wish so, but maybe there can be some issues of accidents and all. So you should be careful. Plus, Mars is a fiery planet and it is losing its dignity. Okay, and the first house, as it represents head, it can give you a very hot head. Okay, it can be like lots of anger, and when you are angry, as it is the sign of communication, you may be able to say anything, whichever whatever comes into your mouth at that time. So if that is the situation, again, it is just an interpretation, not necessary that you will have all these traits. It is This is something which you need to take care. If you have any of these traits, then you should take care. Plus, it also makes someone very courageous. One of my very good friends has it. She is also Gemini ascendant with Mars in the first house. So she is very courageous. She is very very brave. Okay, she was in army also before. That was the thing. Then it also shows someone is getting money from his own business, because 11th lord is coming into the first house, Gemini. So it shows that income is coming through your own efforts. Okay, but be careful about this anger related issue and accidents, sudden events kind of thing. Moon dasha just started. Yeah, utilize this dasha for this occult side or any kind of knowledge oriented subjects. I also have Sun and North Node in the fourth house. They say North Node in the fourth house have to be away from my hometown, and also in my D9 chart, my Mars is in Cancer again, and Leo ascendant in the D1 and D9. Also, Mars exchanges signs, Moon in Aries. Okay, sorry, got a call. Okay, so I was saying that this is Leo ascendant chart, and Sun Rahu both are in fourth house, Scorpio. Uh, I somehow still feel that the fourth lord going debilitated in the 12th house shows that going away from the homeland to the foreign lands can cause you some losses. This is what my interpretation is. Um, Now understand that Sun Rahu in fourth house Scorpio shows lots of transformation and lots of instability in home environment. what it means is that you should be away from your birthplace. Okay, you should be like living away from the birthplace, not necessarily in some different country. Okay. Relocating within your country also may help you, and not very far, but just within your country also may help you. Plus, uh, Sun Rahu in the fourth house actually shows that you can work from your home and you can get benefits or gains from working from home, because seventh Lord Rahu is coming into the fourth house. So it is representing home based business. Somehow I will not advise you to go to foreign lands or settle in foreigners. You can travel there, and but even for traveling means you should be 100% careful with Mars debilitated in the 12th house. Yeah, I got it. And the moon is in ninth house. Yeah, I understood it, but still I'm not very comfortable with this Mars in Cancer in the 12th house. Jupiter in Ashlesha, Pada 1, with Ketu in Pushya in 8th house. How will be the spouse, as Jupiter is indicator of husband? I think you are new to my page. I somehow feel that marriage and astrology has no connection with each other, so I cannot comment on this. Okay. I can only say Jupiter in Ashlesha Pada 1 with Ketu in Pushya in 8th house. Okay. It is same Jupiter Ketu in Cancer, right? So it is Sagittarius ascendant. We can only talk about relationship or alliances, as I understand. I'm not talking about the spouse or marriage kind of thing, the institution of marriage. I'm just talking about the relationship concept. So relationship wise, it is Sagittarius ascendant. Gemini is in the seventh house. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Mercury, Jupiter both are enemies. It shows a relationship of frustration. Jupiter Ketu both in the eighth house shows a certain amount of disconnection from your spouse, from your relationship partner and in-laws. Now you may get benefits from your in-laws, you may get inheritance from your own family and in-laws family, but there will be a certain kind of disconnection because of Ketu sitting there. Okay. It is kind of difficult position for relationship, but it is not as difficult as someone who has like Leo ascendant or Cancer ascendant. Those are difficult ascendants, or Aquarius ascendants. Those are difficult ascendants for relationship. This is not as difficult as that one. Okay, but as every relationship is difficult, you will have your own issues in relationship. No issues. Okay. I have Moon and Rahu in fifth house in Taurus. Okay, and I'm going through Rahu Mahadasha. Will this be any good, Rohini Nakshatra? It will be good when you are dealing with the fifth house related things. So this is the main thing about the dasha. Every dasha is indicating towards some activities. If we get ourselves involved in those activities, then only that dasha can be helpful. Like you have Moon Rahu in the fifth house Taurus. So if you get yourself involved in fifth house related activities like education, creativity, counseling, arts, media, movies. So if you are interested in any of these activities, and if you get yourself involved in any of these activities, then you can expect good results during this dasha. Okay, but if you are not doing anything related with that, then you cannot expect, because you are not exploring that energy at all. Like if I give my example, like I am in Jupiter Dasha, and this is I think ninth or 10th year of the Jupiter Dasha, ninth I guess. It is started from 2011. Okay, so from 2011 to 15, I have Jupiter in the ninth house, Cancer. Okay, it is exalted Jupiter in the ninth house, best possible position. Ninth house is all about counseling, guiding others. So but for first 4 years of my Jupiter Dasha, I was working in corporate world. I was not doing anything related with the ninth house. So and I got the results, but those were mediocre results with lot of frustration, because I was not able to utilize the potential. The moment I got into this work of astrological counseling and all, I I came into the ninth house related matters. I started exploring the ninth house related things. Then I started getting the best results. So you have to get yourself involved with the fifth house related things. Then only you can expect good results in this dasha. Otherwise also you will get the result, but those results will be like mediocre one, average one, and they may not bring any satisfaction to you. Okay. As I analyzed, natives having debilitated Mars are more physical active, motivated than the exalted Mars native. Yeah, we can say so, because uh, uh, it has one reason I can understand is that the difference between Mars exalted and debilitated is that Mars is your energy and actions. Exalted Mars, Capricorn Mars, the person is very sure about where he needs to utilize his actions and energy. He has very correct idea what he wants to do. The debilitated Mars may not have the right idea, may not have the right direction. That's why he is going everywhere. Okay. Now when you have no idea what to do with the energy, now you can be involved in lots of activities. Okay. So maybe that is the reason why a debilitated Mars can be more active in comparison, looks more active than in comparison to an exalted Mars. Okay. But when my dasha started, it felt like hell. I had anxiety issues, loss of reputation. Can you tell about this? Uh, okay. So it is like Rahu Moon. I think you have Rahu Moon in the Taurus, right? Right. So Rahu Moon in Taurus in the fifth house. Why it caused all these issues? Anxiety issues. First of all, Moon is mind, Rahu is obsession, it is obsessed mind. Rahu Moon conjunction can bring extreme emotions. Either they are too happy or they are too sad. Either they are throwing party to the whole town, or they are like so sad that they can think of committing suicide. Okay, so Rahu Moon is like that type of extreme emotions. So the main challenge for you is to bring balance in your emotions. Okay, first of all, you need to and anything related with mind, moon. The main remedy you can do is meditation. Anything which brings calm and peace to your mind is your meditation. It is not necessary that you need to sit somewhere and close your eyes. If like making painting brings peace and calm to you, then that is your meditation. Okay, so you can do that. Meditation is very important for you to bring that stability in mind, first of all. Okay, then if we see why it caused this anxiety, it is because of the same extremes. Okay, so if you meditate regularly, you can get rid of this anxiety, depression kind of thing. Then fifth house is eighth from the 10th. Okay, if you start counting from the 10th house and reach fifth house, there are eight houses in between. 10th house is your fame, 8th house is your death, 5th house represents death of your fame, that is defamation. Okay, that is why you had a loss of this reputation kind of thing in your this dasha. But again, it is just that all those activities, all those negative events are just indicating that you are on not on right path. If you just go on the right path, if you just get yourself involved in Rahu in 5th house related matters, then you will be fine. Okay. Then Moon Rahu in 4th house, Sun Ketu Mercury in the 10th house, Virgo ascendant. Moon Mahadasha, any comment on impact of lunar eclipse? Lunar eclipse is again happening in the this 4th 10th axis only for you. So as you have lunar eclipse in the birth chart also, okay, yeah, lunar eclipse is in the birth chart, and on the same axis lunar eclipse is now, you will feel eclipse impact more because it is kind of double energy of eclipse. Okay, so this can be the thing with Moon Rahu, sorry, this eclipse and your eclipse in the birth chart. You may feel the emotional instability more. You may like have the sadness, depression, I would say sadness, not depression. Okay, the sadness or pessimistic approach, anxiety kind of thing more during this eclipse. Okay, plus like Moon Mahadasha is also running. It is basically it is the same thing. Moon Rahu conjunction together. It is extreme mind which is going into extremes. So you need to like balance out your mind. Okay, you need to bring the stability in your mind. Again, the thing is that meditation can help you a great deal. Okay, so this is what you need to do. Spend more and more time in meditation and all the spiritual pursuits, you will be fine, no issues. Ninth Lord Sun in Jyeshtha Pada 1. Jyeshtha means Scorpio and it is Sagittarius ascendant. Pada 1 in the 12th house with Venus in Jyeshtha Pada 3. Degree difference 9. How is this combination for marriage and success in government job at birthplace? Government job at birthplace. Great. So first of all, in relationship matter, again I am talking about relationship, not marriage. Okay. So in relationship matters, it shows kind of combust Venus, plus it is in the 12th house. Understand, 12th house is basically the house of losses. Whichever planet goes into the 12th house, it is like in the bucket of loss. Okay, if you want to make any good use of that planet, you have to put an extra effort. So it shows that in relationship matters, as Venus is main karaka of relationship, in relationship matters you may feel a kind of sense of loss in relationship. Plus it is in Scorpio sign, in Jyeshtha nakshatra there can be ego conflicts. Jyeshtha is all about ego, Sun is all about ego. So ego conflicts, ego clashes can bring lots of instability in your relationship because it is in Scorpio, and that instability will make you feel loss in relationship because it is 12th house. Okay, so this is what you need to deal in this incarnation, in this life. That's where you need to understand that either you can have your ego or you can have relationship, you cannot have both. So you need to understand that you need you and your spouse both. I'm not saying that all the responsibility is upon you. You and your spouse both need to understand that with this kind of planetary position, you people cannot have an ego conflict. Okay, because that ego conflict will lead to some sort of dispute and probably loss of relationship. Okay, so this is where you both need to be aware. Okay, regarding government job, again I need to see the whole chart for it, whether government job and all is possibility. But being a Sagittarius ascendant, Mercury rules 10th and 7th both, so it connects your career with business. Mercury itself represents business, so you should be doing your business. Okay. Hello, happy Guru Purnima. Thank you. Any further question? Uh, Seventh house in Sagittarius, Rahu Venus in seventh house in Sagittarius, and Jupiter in third house. Will the Jupiter aspect save the marriage from damage? We can only say that she needs to become aware and educate herself. Jupiter's fifth aspect is there. Fifth aspect is all about educating yourself. Jupiter's fifth aspect. So it shows that Jupiter she needs to educate herself on how to manage her relationship in a better way. We cannot say whether it will save or it will not save. We cannot make a judgment because it depends upon a lot of factor. Marriage, uh, event of marriage and event of separation both depend upon lots of social factor. So we cannot say whether marriage will happen or marriage will not happen or marriage will break. Okay, it depends upon the her chart, her husband's chart, plus the society she belongs to, the dashas they are running. Lots of things are involved. Okay, but Jupiter's aspect from the third house on the seventh house only shows that she needs to educate herself on how to manage her relationship in a better way. She needs another way of saying is that she needs to find out ways by which she can sustain her relationship. As I have watched many of his spiritual master videos, they don't consider astrology in spirituality. They said astrology is useless for a spiritual being, and they can say so. It's not a big deal. Anyone can say anything. No issues. I have Magha Guru. How is my profession in spiritual field? Yeah, it is good. Magha Guru means the extreme desire to be an authoritative position. Jupiter is all about knowledge, so it can give you authority through knowledge. Okay, and as Jupiter is about religion and spirituality, uh, they can you can get authority in religious or spiritual fields. uh, Means Magha Guru in ascendant. I'm teaching meditation healing. That's nice. All these are spiritual pursuits. Jupiter rules your fifth and eighth, the house of education, teaching, counseling. And eighth is all about cult and spirituality. Pisces is spirituality. So you can gain a lot from this spiritual teaching and all. Hello, how are you, Sheetal madam? Hello, sir. What is the effect of combust Venus in Punarvasu along with Jupiter and Sun in the ninth house for Scorpio ascendant along with Jupiter and Sun? Sun, Jupiter, Venus are together in Cancer, running Venus Dasha. So first of all, Venus is not only combust, but it is also in enemy sign. Venus is also seventh lord. So it shows that there can be ego conflicts in relationship, and because of that, and those ego conflicts, you can feel a kind of frustration in relationship because it is in enemy sign. Understand, enemy sign is like I am sitting with my enemy. Okay, how much comfortable I will be feeling if my enemy is sitting here. How much comfortable I will be feeling. Same thing is with a planet which is in enemy sign or with the enemy. Those planets are not comfortable. They are frustrated that we don't have good company. Okay, so that frustration is seen in the result. Okay, another thing which understand one thing in relationship matters. Another thing we can add here is that any combust planet. Okay, if someone has Venus combust, if someone has Mercury combust, Moon combust, Mars combust planet basically shows that a kind of absence of father in life, absence of father figure in life, because sun is father. Okay, so if someone has Venus combust, okay, it shows that father was not there to guide the person about relationship matters. It also shows that person's parents themselves didn't have good relationship, so the child never saw a good relationship in family. That's why their own relationships are difficult. Okay, uh, understand why, if you pay attention, in 99% cases relationship issues go in generations. The issues which my grandfather and grandmother must have faced, same issues my father and mother may have faced in relationship, and same issues I may be facing in relationship. Okay, because I am learning from them only, right? If I am not seeing a good relationship, good positive relationship in my family and at my home, I cannot be expected to maintain a good relationship. That is not in my teaching. No one taught me to have a good relationship. So this is an additional point why relationships are difficult. Relationships can be difficult for thousands of reasons. Okay, every individual case can have its own issues. Okay, but this is also one of the reason that relationship issues goes into generations, unless and until one generation is there which realizes that there is some problem happening, and there is a pattern. Okay, and in 99% cases, in 99% families, there is a pattern. The same issues are faced by the generations, because no one was ready to open the eyes and realize that something is going wrong. Okay, so in short, this Sun Venus combination is going to bring some ego conflicts in relationship, and again, either you can have your ego or you can have your relationship. You cannot have both. Okay. Anyways, Atmakarka Saturn in Uttarashada Nakshatra in first house, along with Dharakaraka Mercury. Okay, in Mula, along with Dharakaraka Mercury in Mula, aspected by Moon in Ardhara from 7th house. Ardhara means Gemini. It is Sagittarius ascendant. Okay. Also Rahu in second house in Uttarashada Nakshatra, and Mars in Kritika in 6th house. Now sir, what's your opinion in relationship? And I have no opinion in relationship matter. I said that every chart has difficulties, so this chart will also have difficulties. Saturn with Dharakaraka Mercury, which is also the 7th lord, shows difficulty in relationship. Person needs to be very accommodative and very adjusting in relationship, especially when Saturn is impacting the relationship. Okay, so this is the thing. For government job, I don't have any opinion unless I see the chart. Okay, career analysis takes time. Why relationship analysis doesn't take time? Because every relationship is crap. Okay, every relationship has its issue, so it is easy to say. Okay, what is better, Gemini or Parashara astrology in your experience? There is an article named "Most Accurate System of Astrology" on my website. You can read it. As I understand, every system is fine. It depends on where you have experience. So if I have experience of looking at least 5,000 charts now, in as per the things I follow, as per the methodology I follow, it shows that that system is good for me. Okay, if I change system now, I have to again work on at least 5,000 charts. So just go through that article, just search on the website, most accurate system in astrology, and you will understand what I am saying. Okay. Hello sir, happy Guru Purnima. I have Magha Leo Pisces. What does it mean? You made my day. Happy Guru Purnima. I have Lagna Lord Saturn in the 6th house. Does this mean do I need to serve someone? Capricorn Lord, no, it is in Gemini. Gemini is sign of business and communication. So it shows that maybe in your initial life, initial career, you may like to do jobs and all, but as you grow, as you enter into your 30s and all, you may be inclined towards having your own business. Does Amavasya indicate moon's conversion? Yes, because sun and moon are both together, right? At the same degree. Uh, so we need to learn on our own about relationships. It depends on us to break the cycle. Relationship take a lot of hard work that both people have to do on themselves and on the yes. I have seen first of all, there is no good chart for relationship. Understand, this is common. As I said that I have given at least 5,000 consultations so far in last 5-6 years. I have not seen a single good chart for relationship. Okay, there is no good or ideal chart for relationship. First of all, remember this. That means every relationship has its complications. Okay, I always say that even your other relationships are difficult, right? We focus so much on this boyfriend girlfriend or husband wife relationship, but every relationship is difficult. I can have issues with my parents also. I can have issues with my siblings also. What is the big deal? But we don't break those relationships, right? We try to sustain those relationships. I can't divorce my parents. I can't divorce my siblings. Okay, so this is the main thing. This is the main problem which is coming, that with this relationship there is a door opened. Okay, the mind works into that direction, that why I am suffering like this, I can just go away. Okay, so this is an additional point. Again, it is an additional point why a relationship is difficult. So it depends upon both the people, as you said. It depends upon the two individuals who are in relationship, if they want to keep the relationship or not. Okay, I have seen people with horrible charts keeping the relationship. Okay, just because they want to keep the relationship. Okay, they don't want to be called divorcee or something like that, and they are keeping the relationship. Okay, and I have seen even like little bit average charts also going through breakups and divorces. So it all depends upon the two individuals, how much they are accommodating with each other. Okay, and again, it the accommodation or adjustment has to be from both the sides. One person cannot do it all the time. I have Venus, Mars combust. Okay. I have Moon in Magha. I'm Pisces ascendant. Moon in Magha. It is in the sixth house. It is fifth lord going into the sixth house. Your work can involve guiding, counseling people. That's all I can say. It is sixth house, so it is difficult for mental health kind of thing. Okay, if you meditate, then it will be better. Plus, moon in the sixth house has sixth house is the house of obstacles. So moon is mind always feels that I face more obstacles in life. So moon in the sixth house people always feel that they have more obstacles to face in life rather than anyone else. Moon in sixth house also shows that mother's life was also full of obstacles. How is Saturn in Punarvasu for Aquarius ascendant? Saturn in Punarvasu for Aquarius ascendant. Saturn is same for everyone. Okay. Saturn is not changing anything. It is if it is in the seventh house, Aquarius ascendant. So it is if it is in fifth house, then it is related with it can give lots of challenges in relationship matters, fifth house, because it aspects all the relationship oriented house, seventh house, 11th house, second house from fifth house, and then if it is in the sixth house, Punarvasu, then the person's whole life path can be all about taking care and nourishing people, healing and health care. It is said Modi ji has Atma Karaka Saturn along with Amatta Karaka Venus. It gave very powerful career on him. What's your opinion? I didn't see Modi ji's chart. Okay, exactly. Because we learn about ourselves when we are in relationships. So that's why it is hard, of course, but that's how we grow, right? That's a very positive approach you have for relationship matters. um, like Understand, seventh house is directly opposite to the first house, so the kind of partner you attract in your life is like your mirror image. Okay, and the mirror image is always the opposite one. Okay, if I see myself in the mirror, left hand will look right hand. Okay, there. So it is difficult to because it is opposite, it is difficult to realize that it is our mirror image, it is we ourselves. Okay, so that is the reason. But as you said that the only way is to go through that relationship rather than breaking it. Okay, uh, and we learn one of the most published quotations of Carl Jung is that everything that irritates you about others can lead to an understanding about yourself. Okay, it is like if someone is able to irritate you, that means he has pointed out something in you. So if that is the approach, actually you can utilize your relationship to become a better human being. If your partner is saying something and you feel irritated at it, or if you feel disappointed, it can lead you to understand yourself in a better way. You can become a better person. But again, it should be from both the sides. It should not be from one side. Relationship matters like divorce, infidelity, or any other abuse runs through generations, and with conscious efforts, one can break through it. Guru Purnima to you. Happy Guru Purnima to you. Thanks for your guidance. Happy Guru Purnima to you also. Thanks for your time and watching videos and all. Can you tell me what factors are responsible for suicide as it considered Mahapap? Okay, I don't know if it is Mahapap or what, but it is not natural. Okay, one of the Osho quotation is that only man commits suicide, only human beings commit suicide. You might not have seen any plant or any animal committing suicide. Okay, So, leaving aside that discussion of pap punya, I am just saying that it is an unnatural act, and no other animal, no other plant will ever commit suicide. It is only human being commit suicide. It is suicide is a concept which has developed in human perverted mind. Okay, nothing else. So, and that is the thing. Maybe I make an article in coming times on what leads to someone to like attempt a suicide or commit a suicide. I don't think I am having information right now, so I will write about it. Does retrograde Saturn speed up results or slow down even more? Uh, it is more intense, I would say. That person will feel that results are very slow, as retrograde is like closer to earth. So person will feel that results are coming very slow in his life, but with time, like Saturn's maturity age is 35. So as he enters into 35 years of age, it is not that Saturn will speed up results, it is just that person is habitual to Saturn. Okay, he has just become habitual to Saturn's ways of delays. If a girl has Cancer moon Jupiter with ascendant, uh, Cancer moon Jupiter with ascendant. Okay, all in Pushya Nakshatra in and husband has a Aquarius ascendant, Jupiter in Shravana. How it goes being Jupiter? Just opposite. More than that, it is 6-8 relationship. It will be a difficult relationship. As Aquarius and Cancer are 6-8 to each other. Okay, it is going to be difficult. Doesn't matter. Jupiter coming in front of each other only shows that there is some past life connection from for both of them, but it is a difficult relationship. 6-8 is always a difficult relationship. Other people are all are our mirrors. Yes, Carl Jung, I knew it. Very true. Great. So we had a lot of questions today. That's nice. I think we are done. It's more than an hour. Any further question from anyone? Okay, I think we can close today's session. Thank you for all the comments and questions and listening to me all the times. Okay. Happy Guru Purnima. Enjoy your Sunday and let's meet some other day. Okay, bye.